Yesterday, we talked a little bit about how Joe Biden's visit to Ukraine on President's Day, can you imagine, has been used to say, well, he really should have been at the border, or he really should have been in East Palestine. I was told very politely by people I was mispronouncing it yesterday. This is the problem when I only read news as opposed to watch it. I don't know that it's pronounced Palestine instead of Palestine. Okay. The argument that some of these right wingers were making was, oh, it was the wrong day to go to Ukraine instead of the border or to Ohio. The brains of a lot of these folks continue to break endlessly. Don Jr. made the argument that it was particularly bad that Biden went to Ukraine on President's Day because Russia is to blame for the train derailments. I mean, it's all making very little sense.
Right, we have derailment after train derailment with environmental disasters. No one asking if it's maybe the Russians retaliating after the article came out about us possibly attacking the Nord Stream 2 pipeline.
Okay. That article has been widely debunked, and it's based on almost nothing. The article has been ridiculed widely and has been widely debunked. We actually know with almost total certainty what happened with the train derailment. There are hot box detectors, which are recommended to be placed every 20 or 25 miles to determine, is something getting too hot on the train, a bearing or other things. There is video footage that suggests that 20 miles out of East Palestine, there was already a fire on the train. There was no such detector there to notify the train crew. As a result, because it is not a requirement to have those hot box detectors, we ended up with what we ended up with. And Don Jr. is talking about Russia. You know, the Trumps love to say, why does everybody talk about Russia? He's talking about Russia when it makes no sense to be talking about Russia. And it's all because their brains are broken. Also important to mention, over time, train derailments per mile traveled have continued to decline in the United States. They're not actually up. There are still too many train derailments, and they are an unfortunately regular thing if you count train and subway and all of these different things. But derailments have actually declined. So that's Don Jr. Ben Shapiro, on the other hand, suggests with no evidence that the air raid sirens in the background of Biden's visit to Ukraine were stage managed. They were staged for Biden's visit.
A clip came out of Joe Biden walking through Kyiv with Vladimir Zelensky, and the air raid sirens go off. It's curious. It's weird. They don't even break. Nobody even for a second in the press pool like looks around. Like normally when the air raid sirens go off, and I've been in countries when air raid sirens have gone off. Right? I mean, like I was in Jerusalem last year. The air raid sirens didn't actually go off in Jerusalem, but you were checking your phone consistently for like, where are the rocket attacks falling?
Isn't that the best? He goes, I've been in countries where air raid sirens are going off. Like, for example, I was in Jerusalem. Actually, the air raid sirens weren't going off, but I was keeping a really close eye on my phone. It's ridiculous.
People tend to have a tendency when a giant noise goes off that says you should get to shelter, people tend to at least look in the air. In this clip, nobody looks in the air. There's a reason for that, as we'll explain in just a moment. Here was Joe Biden with Vladimir Zelensky yesterday walking through Kyiv.
Biden.
Okay, well, there's only a couple of problems with that clip. One, again, nobody looks in the air while the air raid sirens are going off. The second is that a CNN reporter then went on the air and he's like, oh yeah, by the way, we haven't heard an air raid siren in Kyiv for like 5 weeks. Literally the only moment I've heard an air raid siren for the last 5 weeks has been when Joe Biden walked outside with Vladimir Zelensky, which sort of suggests that what they really wanted was a photo op of big, brave Joe Biden, dark aviator glasses, dark Brandon, walking around Kyiv with the air raid sirens going off like he's Winston Churchill in the rubble of London or something.
All right. So there's Ben Shapiro's incisive commentary. The air raid sirens were certainly staged. And then here's Fox News reporter Peter Doocy, who didn't like the tone, I guess, of the Biden speech. And okay, let's listen.
President Biden disagrees with that, and we expect him to expand on that theme later on today at this speech, which should start in a few minutes. And it's not the solemn set of remarks that we were kind of told to expect based on the existential threats that he sees. It has almost a campaign rally feel, like if they were having a campaign rally for democracy. Harris.
Wow, how terrible that would be. Let's rally for democracy, which is in peril and in danger the world over. This wasn't a sad enough event for Peter Doocy. The atmosphere was like too rally-like in favor of democracy, which seems, by the way, like a pretty worthy cause to me. So they don't even know what sorts of criticisms to make at this point in time, because the truth is Biden looked strong by going to Ukraine. So they go, well, President's Day was the wrong day to go, or he should have been at the derailment, or he should have been at the border, or the atmosphere should have been sadder, or the air raid sirens were staged, or Russia did the derailment, or whatever the case may be, for which it's conspiracies and whining, ultimately, what we are getting from the right at this point in time. Their brains are cracking like an egg and breaking. And I don't expect this to change at all anytime soon. Meanwhile, Trump spending time on Truth Social posting about Ron DeSantis, and almost nobody's paying attention. So you can understand why they're upset and why they're scrambling and why they are so triggered. Later in the program, we will look at sort of more, these are slightly more cartoonish reactions. We're going to look at kind of the scarier reactions from some on the right to the news of the last 72 hours. Stay with us. Remember, we can really use your help getting to 2 million YouTube subscribers. Go to youtube.com/The David Pakman Show. Slam that subscribe button. We appreciate it.